I know you can hear me now, but for some reason my video is stuck like this. I have no clue why why I'm stuck like this. So maybe we're going to do a show today with no video. No clue what happened, everybody. Let me just go over here to this screen. So I will just do this. Sounds good, but you've got no screen. So my camera, for some reason, decided to stop working. We will make it work. I apologize. Thank you guys for the text. I have no clue why my microphone didn't work. It worked right before the show, and all of a sudden, no good. All right, well, we don't need my video anyway. We will keep going. I can now show you today's topic is going to be Netflix blowout earnings. So I will just do a show today with the Netflix graphics and two screens without my camera. I don't know why that is, but anyway, let's start here. Some of the big interesting things that happened today for Netflix was extremely surprising numbers. And I'm not a fan of Netflix. I mean, look, I think most of us have a Netflix account. It's surprising what percentage of America has a Netflix account. If you look at, I'm going to quickly go back and forth here, and maybe it's just got me moving off the screen. But I do have a solution for that. Check this out. Let's go with the Razer camera. The video quality is terrible. I know that. Oh boy, that's really bad. Jeez Louise. One of those types of days. I gotta have something up here that I feel like I'm just talking to a blank screen. So we'll keep that there. I'll move it around a little bit to make it look somewhat better. Where's TJ? What percentage do you guys think? Type in the chat. What percentage of the United States has a Netflix account? I guess it's a misleading statistic. I guess that's not a fair comparison because the number of Netflix subscribers is an echo. All right, no video. I know what's happening. It's pulling the camera there. Jeez Louise. No camera, no picture, no video. We're just going to do it straight without until I fix this tomorrow. 260 million people actually have Netflix accounts. And I thought that was the interesting number. If you look at their numbers for today, when they reported, I know, Liz, it is hilarious. It happens every now and again. 13.1 million subscribers added. Now, I am probably one of those because, as you might recall, Netflix did a thing where, everyone was sharing their Netflix ID, and I was one of those. And then all of a sudden they said, you can't. We're going to cut that off. So, you should not have an echo now. Echo should be totally fine at this point. I hope the echo is fine at this point. If not, then I really got problems. Is there still an echo? No wonder we canceled the show yesterday. Bye. With 13 million new subscribers, I'm one of those because I had to buy another subscription to get another person on my account. If you look at someone like Tom, he says 0% at his house, meaning nobody at your house has it. Okay, good. Echo's gone. It's because I added that different camera. I know why. Apparently, when I have my other camera on, there is an echo on that one. So, anyway, doing damage control and trying to get this show rolling at the same time is a tricky one. So 13.1 million subscribers added. That brings their total globally to 260.8. And I was going to make the comparison of what percentage of Americans have it. If we have 360 million Americans, we could probably do the math. But I think that's global numbers. Either way, it's pretty impressive to have that many subscribers. And, part of their earnings call was talking about streamlining some of their operations and the challenges of consolidation that some of the competitors were facing, where Netflix feels like they have a competitive advantage there due to their brand power and longevity in the business. So those were the two main numbers that jumped off the screen to me today. But here is some of their other known numbers. Earnings. They came out with $2.11 per share versus what was expected at $2.11. Now that's by LSEG, which is just an analyst company. So in that respect, they kind of missed. A little bit nerve-wracking there because they missed on that number. But it was just the sheer addition, which I think everyone believes is going to be the catalyst of their bottom line going forward. Thanks, Big Eb. All went well yesterday. All's not going well with this show today. Having all kinds of problems with that one. Here is your Netflix earnings sheet that was produced by Zacks.com. You can see that they were expected to come out, according to these numbers, 220 was the expectation. They came out at 211. They missed on this one as well, and it's kind of didn't look great on those. But there are other numbers that do look pretty darn good. So let me go back to my cheat sheet page over here. And that's good. The good news there. This is where they really started to excel. Revenue was $8.83 billion versus $8.72. So they basically made $900 million, or sorry, not 900 million. Excuse me, $90 million more than expected on revenue. Great final number there. Sorry, is that 90? Sorry, 110 million more than expected on their revenue lines for Netflix. So all in all, things starting to look better and better and better. Now, still not back up to the price level that Jim Cramer told everyone to buy at. That's $597. But today, if we look at this price chart right here, you can see the ascending triangle we had talked about a few weeks ago. It just keeps making higher highs and higher lows. As of right now, we are at 534, which is, let me move this cursor up here. We're looking right about where that upper red line is. So we've got a significant jump up in the after-hour session to the tune of about 8.62% for Netflix. And I will show you the popcorn trades. Of course, you know I always like to call it the popcorn trade of the day when something goes absolutely nuts. I'll put this on a 3-minute time frame so you can see the actual jump here. There it is. Huge spike up. When it closed today, it was trading at a closing price of $491, and we're currently trading at $533. So big jump up, had a little bit of a retracement, but kind of continuing to move on to the upside, hitting that high right around $535 and just a little while ago. So we'll see if we get to that Jim Cramer all-elusive number. I apologize if you guys hear screaming in the background. It's a tile saw cutting the rock for the surface or outside of the house next door to me, which is literally 6 feet from my window. Gotta love that today. All right, so that's your big story. Now, of course, if Netflix is doing so well, Tom says, I love how people say they are so busy in life, but binge Netflix and 6 other streaming services. Yep. Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny because I have all these streaming services. I'm going to just see if my video's back. That is so weird. Yeah, for some reason my Canon's frozen. I'm not sure why that is. I will turn it off and turn it back on. Maybe that will fix me up here. I'm with you, Tom. I don't want to be that guy that sits there and watches, for some reason my camera's totally frozen. I don't want to be the guy that sits there and watches TV all day. However, I do love to unwind. So I'm a kind of the end of the day, you know, go to bed and just sit and watch some mindless TV just to get my mind off of all the other things that are going on in my head. That's pretty much my main thing. Of course, I'm a sports fanatic. I do, you know, of course, I'm going to continue to watch my football team play and hopefully strive and do very, very well, which is the 49ers, and we'll see about that game this Sunday as they face a very good Detroit Lions team. I'm looking forward. It's going to be a great playoff. But yes, I think the more time you spend in front of a TV, the more you're wasting your life, and I'm trying to watch less and less and less of it, go do something else, or at least learn something along the way. The last piece I'll say about Netflix was this. What was great about it, and I think this is why it really took off, is they raised pretty much all their forecasts for revenue, subscribers, everything for 2024 was shifted to the upside, and markets love when you shift those numbers to the north side and you know, give the impression that, hey, things are looking great, markets are going to be rosy, and we're going to see things go much higher. So that was the big news out there. Now, let's go to our markets. Of course, the numbers I'm going to quote you right now are misleading. Those are not exactly the end-of-day numbers that we would normally get from a CNBC or Fox or Bloomberg. These are futures markets. So with a 15-minute delay here on TradingView, which I should probably just link this to one of my accounts and get real-time data, these are impacted by that Netflix earnings. So I'll start at the bottom, work our way up to the top. Number one is Bitcoin. You know, it's funny. I'm dealing with so many people freaking out saying Bitcoin's crashing. Here we come, 10,000. It's like, hold on, relax, guys. Jeez Louise. We knew this was coming. I mean, what did I say about the ETF day? I said it's probably going to surge up for a little bit and then come crashing down. And here we are in that big crashing mode. We've come from $49,000 to $39,000. That's a 25% or 20% drop in a fairly short window of time. If you go from that peak to that bottom, 22% slide. Now, notice the tail here, right? My belief was we're going to come right down to this 38,100. That's the best point in my mind to be acquiring Bitcoin. I still don't know if that's necessarily the bottom, right? I would like to buy some more. Right now, my capital is tied up in other stuff, and I have enough Bitcoin at this moment, so I don't think I'm going to buy more Bitcoin. Right now, I think you might get a little bit more sell-off, honestly, but I do think over time it's going to move up. That said, when you look at supply and demand methodology, this is the origin of a significant pop-up. Hey, good to see you, Les. ABK, don't copy me. Don't do that. Don't copy. Anyway, I think that if anybody's here is looking at points to potentially buy Bitcoin, 38,100 is certainly a good price for long term, but my gut tells me we're going lower. Just think that there's all of a sudden this negative spray from media outlets is doing its number, and you're starting to see a little bit more pessimism out there. That said, we go back to all my math numbers, the whole supply and demand factors. I think you're going to see Bitcoin continue to rise over time. So it's about your intestinal fortitude and how long you want to hold Bitcoin for. I, for one, am in it till November of next year, and then we will see. Chris says 27.5. Yeah, I could see that. You know, let's be honest, Chris, and others, you look at this chart, you have this gorgeous run from late October through just a couple days ago. That said, you know, where are there any really strong demand zones? I don't see anything that jumps off the screen at me until I get to, 1 second as I bring up some drawing tools for you. And this isn't even a great one, but it's still the only real one I have to work with. I mean, that's all of a sudden getting out of 28,000. Now, I really hope it doesn't get down to those levels. I think that might be a bit of a stretch to get to 28,000, but as we've seen with Bitcoin, anything is possible. Now, I have done a lot of research and dug into the market patterns and cycles of Bitcoin. As you guys know, I really believe this 4-year pattern, this 4-year cycle that happens with Bitcoin. And if that is in fact the case and true and holds, we won't see it drop to 28. It'll come down somewhere right around this 38, maybe 35, and then it'll continue on this rally. Remember, we have a major event happening in a couple of months. We talked about the halving the other day. And the halving is simply where we get the rewards for Bitcoin gets cut in half. That means supply gets reduced, and that could act as a catalyst for the market to move to the upside again because supply is getting less. And typically after the halving, which is going to end of April or first weekend in May or first day of May, is when we see the halving happened, and that's going to be at block 840,000. When that happens, less Bitcoin in circulation, and typically for the next couple months, it goes up a little bit, and then the last year of it, which will start in November of this year, that's when you get that parabolic move. That's really the crazy, just unbelievable statistical pop that we get for Bitcoin, which, not quite sure why it always happens in the 4th year, but that's when the exponential moves happen. What's last high? 32,000? Oh, you mean if I scroll back over here, like this one? Yeah, right around 32. Yep, that could certainly be one as well. You know, if we look at this picture, though, going back to where we were just in November of 2022, you know, pretty impressive move. And I actually, in my measurements of where this is going to go, I didn't have it rallying this much this quickly. I actually thought we'd traverse sideways a little bit more. I was thinking maybe 35,000 by the end of 2023. Well, we were well above that, exceeded my expectation there, but hopefully I'm right on my target of 250,000 in November of 2025. No Santa Clara team, just to look forward to the Baltimore. My Lions should not be taken seriously. Oh, I think... Come on. Lions are they look good, man. They look good. Although I don't think Jared Goff has what it takes to lead that team. I like him, but you know, people are hating on Brock Purdy as well. People say Brock Purdy doesn't deserve to be there and he's no good. I say hogwash. I think he's pretty damn good myself. Anyway. All right, so that was Bitcoin. And with that, you saw a bloodbath in all cryptos, except some of the scam coins, which were doing well today. But I've sorted this by gainer. And you can see, like, there's a few, like APT, you had Celsius up a little bit, but most of the stuff was just pretty big in the negative. Here you can see, you know, Civic and Tower. You got Curve, LivePeer, a lot of big negative stuff, 5, 6, 7%. So it's been a pretty grueling couple of weeks, or at least a week for my crypto portfolio. But again, I don't care. It's just going to be the longer term perspective for me, at least until November of 2025. All right, let's move up that ladder, and then I can try to figure out what on earth is going on with my camera and everything here. With crude oil, we had brought up this point on a breakout of compression, and we achieved that. Remember, I was telling you that when we break something like this, we were still trending down. Probability was higher. We would actually break to the downside on this triangle here on crude oil. Didn't happen. We actually broke to the upside. Now, until we get above that 76.18 mark, I'm not going to jump on the super bullish bandwagon here. But if we do get above 76.18, I would keep my eye on that one. I think if that happens, you're going to start to see this thing really start to rip to the upside, ultimately getting up to that 80.82 mark, which is your last really significant supply zone. And after that, we'll map out if we ever get to those levels. But that's where we stand right now on crude oil. which is down 0.52% today. And again, that's as of now. Markets closed, an hour plus ago, so we still have a little bit different data than what you're going to see on CNBC, Fox, and Bloomberg. All right, Russell, not even on the podium today. We have that beautiful 3-day rally. Well, today gave back just a little bit of it, down 0.34%. All in all, looks like a pullback into supply right there, which hit right at 2,000. So you had whole number psychology at 2,000, and we closed below that one. I'm not putting too much stock into that, no pun intended, but all in all, not the worst day, down 0.34%. Now, let's move up. 10-year. Now, 10-year just dropped. It was up ever so slightly on the day, but we have, new session going on right now for the 10-year. So we were slightly up on the 10-year. That's not a real talking point. Gold and silver both up today, thank goodness. Silver was starting to hurt there a little bit with that silver, given how much I have of it. The other one that I'm stopped out of was Boyle. Boyle stopped me out yesterday, unfortunately. I had my numbers in, and for that piece right there, that means that everybody should go buy Boyle, because I got stopped out, which now means it's going to surge and jump 100% in like 3 or 4 days. Watch. Boyle's just going to go crazy now that I'm out of it. And I initially bought Boyle with the expectation of a fairly cold front coming in January and February. I thought we were going to start to see things surge up, plus we tend to get a little bit of a seasonal rally. Didn't happen. Of course, now that I'm out, we'll probably get it, so keep your eye on natural gas and Boyle, which we can look at here in a second if you want, because I have no video of myself today. Podium time. Dollar index, the Dixie, continuing its move up. We had that small little bullish flag pattern form on the Dixie. Now all of a sudden, breaking to the upside. Your next logical stop is going to be 104.25. After that, break above 150 is really where you're going to start to see these big surges. Now, keep in mind, I'm seeing more and more analysts call for huge market corrections and big bear market stuff. Most of the people I've been reading, like Walter Block, those guys are always bearish anyway. They're just never saying anything positive about the market's always bearish. So I take that with a grain of salt. But I'm seeing some others who are somewhat neutral most of the time jump on that bearish bandwagon train. So I'm curious to see what happens over the next couple weeks. You do have that dollar getting stronger, which is a weight on the overall markets. And a couple other things like the bonds, we saw those yields have been rising as well. So if those two things keep moving up, I definitely think you'll see some pressure on these equity markets to the downside, even though we already broke all-time highs. Let's see, that was dollar indexes, your bronze metal, silver metal going to the S&P, and I'll show you why. I mean, this is going to be impacted by Netflix. You'll see the move up in the futures markets in the after-hour session. But, I talked about this the other day, blue sky territory. Once you break through this, there is no more, here we're going to hit a supply level and turn. At this point, it's going to go up until it doesn't. I know it sounds profound and stupid, but there's nothing overhead to stop the S&P. There's nothing overhead to stop the Nasdaq. So it'll turn when all of a sudden the buyers and sellers just come to some agreement that, all right, well, I'm taking profits or I want to sell my shares here, and it's going to come ripping down and establish a supply zone. Usually on a break like this, you get a really strong move up and a nice follow through into that blue sky, that uncharted territory. So S&P up 0.29% today. 48.95 is where it closed at, but that pales in comparison to the victorious one, which had a great shooting star yesterday. Nasdaq 100 was up 0.42%, 17,531. But look at the after-hours session. This is really what's pushing this thing up. If you look at where we closed at today, I'll put a vertical line right there for you, since you can see this chart. When Netflix earnings came out, you had a pretty quick drop. But in the after hours to where we are right now, only up 0.05%. So not that significant. I guess I could take that back a little bit. There were a couple ISRG report earnings today. There was so many. What I'll do is I'm going to do earnings calendar stuff here, since I can't put my video on today. I don't know what happened there. Apologize for all the weird things happen. Mick says eventually FOMO will kick in. I think FOMO is kicking in. As the retail investor reads these headlines and looks around and sees markets at all-time highs, everything right now is all-time high for Nasdaq, all-time high for S&P. Your average retail investor is getting FOMO, and they're probably going to jump into this one, into the overall market. So that's where you get that surge, right? You get that extra surge because of so many people buying in off this FOMO. Now, I will tell you, I have seen this before. I have seen the FOMO effect when Money Magazine ran an article. I believe it was March of 2020 when I was on the trading floor. And it said, it was called The Great Boom or The Big Boom. And in that article, it talked about how if you aren't in the markets right now, you're missing out because it's the greatest market ever. And that was literally the all-time high, right? All-time high for the Nasdaq, and it fell aggressively from there because it brought in all these new retail investors, the last people who were like holding on because they were afraid, and all of a sudden we saw things come screaming back down, and that was the peak of 2000. We may get something similar. I think you're gonna have to drive in, more of these retail investors. That's why I like the S&P chart. I like the Nasdaq chart, not on a 3-minute, but on a daily time frame, just showing the speed and strength at which Nasdaq is moving and shrugging off any attempt to sell off like it did today. Okay, that is your top 8 markets out there. I don't have much else, and I can't go back to video here. So Chris says retail sidelines billions. Yeah, I think Big Eb's right. You're probably closer to trillion. I'm sure it's a pretty elevated number. Now, when you say retail sidelines, one of the things you got to remember is during the pandemic, we have the highest savings rate we'd had in a long time here in the United States, and that has dramatically shifted. We are no longer saving money like we used to. We've become a spending society in the past 2 years due to all these, I guess, just being shacked up and not having the ability to go shop. Now all of a sudden, we're like, hey, I can go shop and spend. Let's do it. Well, we're seeing those reserves, savings accounts dwindle and get crushed down. We're also seeing the highest level of consumer debt that we've ever seen. So while there may be a lot of money on the sidelines, I think that is shrinking. And the question I would have is the amount of retail money sitting on the sidelines enough to counteract the potential for people defaulting on their debt, which they are accumulating with record at an alarming pace? And that's the only question I would have on that one. So yes, there is a lot of money on the sidelines still. There always tends to be, but all in all, it's still at this point pushing things higher. Inflation encouraged spending too. Yep. And it did. And now we get that inflation pull back a little bit. What we're not seeing is the economic malaise, if you will. We're not seeing these, a lot of real problems with economic data. We'll find out this week. We do have some GDP numbers come out this week. Tomorrow we have a whole bunch of services and manufacturing numbers coming out for France and Germany, the EU, the UK, and the US. All of that starting right around 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. Now, as far as the earnings front, let's run through a couple of these that reported today just to give an idea, because most actually did pretty well. Intuitive Surgical was one of the ones that had a big jump today. So let's look at ISRG. ISRG, if you're not familiar with it, you might want to become familiar with it. It's an interesting concept. It's robotic surgery. Very interesting. At some point, I don't know, I've had this discussion with some friends before, and they said no way would they ever want a robot to perform the surgery. And part of me says, yes, I would. I wanted someone who's robotically precise. No shaky hands. The guy didn't go out with his buddies last night for a bachelor party and he's nursing a hangover while he's, slicing me open with a scalpel. I don't know. Makes me nervous. Anyway, Intuitive Surgical, they were expecting $1.47. They came out at $1.60. And that's a beat on earnings, about 8%. They jumped over 6% today. Now, actually, at one point, they were up 6%. Right now, they're up 5.17. So the numbers I'm seeing are slightly off. But you have a pop right now. It's trading at 390, which is almost off the charts here. All right, it's literally all-time high for ISRG. And again, this IRG, Big Eb's got the ISRG. Big Eb's going the AI play. He's got a good AI portfolio. And right now, anything to do with AI is rocking. And you have a great use case for AI with Intuitive Surgical or in applications of artificial intelligence. So loving ISRG today. What are some other ones that jumped? I was surprised to see Verizon. So VZ, they barely beat earnings, but we're having a great day. Right, you're up almost 7% on the day. We got old school graphics on this one. Currently, two largest generations are in control of which will drive spending. Well, we'll see about that one, Mick. I'm not sure. I totally agree with that one. The two largest generations are in control of the world. I don't know if that's necessarily going to drive spending. Right? Just because they're in control of things doesn't mean that they're spending. You look at boomers and they're going to retirement, downsizing things. So, I don't know about that. It's just any replacement using robotic surgery. Merlin I'm sure she was out during that. You got to have a doctor there to overlook the operation. That to me is the important part. You have to have a real human there to look at the impacts of it. Right? I want to see what he's cutting into and how things are going. But give me a human being there and we're good. So Verizon was another one that just had smoking earnings today. They came out before market open. They're typically, you guys know, typically New York stocks report before market open, and Nasdaq stocks report after market close, which is what Netflix did. Netflix is one of the few. Netflix and ISRG reported after earnings, but you did have a miss. J&J, Johnson & Johnson, right? So they actually beat earnings, but we're down 1.6% on the day. Let me get rid of my wonderful artwork here. All in all, with Johnson & Johnson, you have this nice downtrend going, but the way it closed today was rather interesting. Right? You had it down 1.6%, but at one point it was down much, much more than that, coming right into the origin of this last big move up on January 2nd. Nice buy point there. Anybody playing a pullback and a demand breakout. So nice on J&J. What else I see? I saw a lot of different companies out there. You had 3M today, which so 3M was interesting. 3M beat earnings. But apparently lowered their guidance because they beat earnings by about 11 cents. They were expected to make 231. They came out at 242, and they were down 11% on the day and still going down in the after-hour session. Now, I'm not a big fan of 3M. Otherwise, I might try to bottom fish on some of this and look for a panic put buyers tomorrow and sell them some puts. Great, but not going to happen. Yep. Netflix missed. And we talked about that at the beginning, Mick. Netflix missed, but where they really killed it was on new subscribers. That had shattered all expectations that they were going to have with new subscribers. GE is another one that reported earnings. Now, GE beat earnings, one of the better beats. They beat by 14% on GE, yet they were down almost 1% on the session. So it's funny. You can beat earnings and be up or down. You can miss earnings and be up or down. The only other one here that I was interested in was Lockheed Martin, LMT. So Lockheed Martin reported before market open and got crushed here, smoking to the downside as we speak, down 4.16%, even though Lockheed Martin beat by 64 cents. They were expected to make 726, came out at 790. I know how Save did you well as Robot as well. Yeah, boy, look at that Save chart, right? I'm kind of kicking myself for not buying Save, but I didn't want to take that risk because I do think they're going to file for bankruptcy here at some point, unless they get bought out by another. Yeah, I figured they'd lower their guidance. There's no other way you could have that chart list. The other one, IRBT, that one's been doing pretty good lately too. So again, I sold the $12 puts. So I am not worried at all. If it gets to 12, I'll happily own it. But I mean, this thing, it's probably going to close this gap by the time my puts expire, which is February 16th. That third Friday of February is when my IRBT puts expire, but it's fine. We'll see, Big Gap. I don't want to. It's not about boasting. I'm not trying to be braggadocious here on that one. But yeah, that was a cat's in the fall night. But I like iRobot. I like iRobot better than I like Spirit Airlines for sure. Definitely not a fan of Spirit. I despise Spirit. Let's see. What else do we have? There were some questions earlier. ABK. If you're still here, ABK, let me know. You asked about the Cold Wallet website. If you're still here, I will show you that one. And if there's anything else you guys want me to bring up and discuss, let me know. My camera is frozen, so I'm not sure what happened there. I will add it to my list of things to fix. Oh, the joys of not having a tech department support team on this TraderMerlin show is a doozy. All right, if you got anything else you want me to talk about, let me know. I will happily do so. Sly, the sarcasm is great. Yeah, GE lowering their guidance? Oh no! Look, here's the funny part. If you're GE, they've already spun off multiple companies, right? So you got 3 different companies they're breaking GE into. The GE gets to remain the garbage company, and they turn the other 2, all the profitable stuff, into the other businesses. So yeah, it's you got GE Healthcare. There was there are 3 different companies I think being split, and of course GE is most likely going to suffer over time anyway, because all the good stuff has been turned into their own company. What else do you guys want me to discuss today? Let me see real quick. I'm going to bring up something here. I'm going to bring this up before I get. I want to get the ticker symbols. I forget the ticker symbols. It was GE Healthcare, Vernova, and Aerospace. Johnson, I'm looking forward to Spirit becoming another airline ghost. Well, their assets could be sold to somebody else. You might see somebody like, I don't know, Frontier step up and buy them, or some other airline. Those assets obviously have massive value. Dog food? We'll talk about dog food. I hate talking about dog food. Costco doesn't have my dog food anymore. Let's go to Vernova. Bring it up real quick here. Vernova. No, that's Vetanova. No, it's not this one either. I don't remember the ticker symbol they switched into, but it was Vernova in early 2024 is when they started. Does your vet use iRobot? No, I don't know. I don't think so. He's a good surgeon, that's for sure. Robert knows why is Bitcoin falling? Look, it's the buy the rumor, sell the news thing. It's falling because it had such a massive run. You know, if you look at the numbers here and go back to, let's just say, September of last year, Bitcoin rallied from those September lows to those October highs, or sorry, not October lows, those January highs, 97%. And now we've had a pullback of 22%. Fine. I'm cool with that. If I get 90% rallies and 30% pullbacks, I'll take that all day for the rest of my life. All day. No problem with that for me. All right, well, that's it. So GE Aerospace, yeah, that was set for early. So the GE Aerospace is the one that's supposed to happen anytime. It says early 2024. I thought it actually happened, but I guess I was wrong. All right, what else you guys got for me? Anything else? I'm going to wrap things up here because obviously I can't show video and I'm flustered that my computer is not functioning right, which is odd to me. Let's go and look at our economic calendar for tomorrow. I mentioned you have flash manufacturing and services data, a lot of it tomorrow. And this is some of it here. You can see starting off, this is at Pacific time. So just after midnight tonight, you're going to get the French, then the German, then the EU numbers, then the UK, and then our numbers here for the US start at 6:45 in the morning. That's 15 minutes in the trading session. So keep an eye on that one. If you are trading the open, those manufacturing and services numbers may have a little impact. I don't think it's going to be massive, but certainly any economic data right now that doesn't go in the direction that the Fed wants it is of interest, and I think it'll create some more problems for our markets going forward. Now, as far as earnings tomorrow, yeah, I saw it in the chat earlier. You, of course, do have Tesla reporting. That will be, as always, the popcorn trade of the day. For those of you who don't know what the popcorn trade of the day is, that is where you take your, let's see if does this work? No, it's still me jumping off set. Love it. That is where you take your charts, you put them on a 1 minute time frame, so you go like this right here, and I'll show you the chart. We're going to go to TSLA. You bring that up to a 1 minute time frame. You can do a tick chart if you want, but 1 minute's just fine. And you make sure you set it to extended hours trading. You put your feet up on your desk, grab a bowl of popcorn, and just watch the fireworks, because as you know, it doesn't matter whether Tesla beats earnings or not. It's anything that can be said at the press conference, and this thing could move 10, 15% in a matter of seconds. So it's just not worth it to be trading it, because you'll get whipsawed and most likely you'll lose money. So err on the side of caution. Now, that said, it's not just about Tesla tomorrow. You have some other big names in this. Of course, AT&T on the telecommunications side. You have IBM. You have Lam Research, Abbott Labs, United Rental, Progressive. You have CSX. So got transportation in there. And I think if I sort by market cap, yeah, there you go. ASML Holdings will be on there, as well as SAP. So some pretty big names coming back tomorrow. Yep, exactly. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the candlestick display. It's like a mini fireworks show. Kind of an interesting thing when that happens with those earnings announcements. So that's going to do it for me for today, everybody. Sorry for the technical issues. I have no clue what happened. The problem of working two studios at once. I guess I unplugged something, but thank you for getting me back on track. I will fix my video right now to make sure I get this all set for tomorrow's show. If there's something in particular that you guys would like to see, maybe me and calling myself the donkey of the day for my technical issues today, well, let me know. You can email me at tradermerlin@gmail.com. Let me know if there's a topic you want me to cover a little bit more in detail. I know we had a gentleman who wanted to know the website that I was getting those ledgers at, but he's not there. So ABK, you're not there. I don't see you. I won't show that because everybody else knows where to get those USB drives or thumb drives. All right. That's going to do it for me, everybody. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. We'll throw out here with a little bit of fire and looking good. The flames have been burning my computer. Hopefully, I will get that all fixed for you guys tomorrow. Again, let me know if there's something you want to cover. You can put it down below any of the YouTube videos or put them down. Email me at tradermerlin@gmail.com. I will see you tomorrow, everybody. Take care.